Let me tell you a story that'll mess with your head. Real love, real betrayal. The kind you don't see coming until it's standing in front of you, pointing a gun at your heart. This one right here, this ain't no fairy tale. This is real life. And it happened right here in Africa, Nigeria to be precise. Lagos, the city of hustle, sweat, and secrets. And in these streets, love don't always look like what you hope for. Officer Daniel Okoye wasn't just a cop, he was the cop, the one everybody in the station respected. Clean record, sharp instincts, no shortcuts. This was a man who carried justice on his back like a soldier carries his rifle, never leaving it behind, not even when he was off duty. Let me walk you through this one. But for all that strength, Daniel had one weakness. Love Officer Daniel Okoye wasn't just a police officer. In Lagos, people called him the Lion. No bribes, no shortcuts, clean, fearless. His name carried weight from Oshodi to Victoria Island. When Daniel stepped on the scene, criminals knew it was over. And that weakness, it came with a smile and a soft laugh. Her name was Olivia, but the strongest men, they don't fall by bullets or knives, they fall by love. Met her at a charity fashion event. Daniel was just there doing security, nothing major. But when Olivia walked past him wearing this simple green dress that didn't need to shout to get attention, Daniel felt something in his chest move. Daniel's weakness came with soft eyes and a wicked smile. Her name was Olivia. You know that feeling when the world gets quiet for a second, like your whole body just told you, yo, that's her. They met at a charity fashion event in Lekki, nothing fancy. Daniel was on duty, standing by the entrance, when Olivia glided past in this emerald green gown that hugged her like it was sewn on her skin. Classy, not loud, beautiful in that effortless Nigerian queen kind of way. They started talking. Coffee dates turned into dinners. Dinners turned into lazy Sunday mornings where you don't even get out of bed until noon. Something shifted in Daniel's chest that day. You know that feeling when the noise of the whole party fades and it's like God himself tapped you on the shoulder and said, that one. Man, Daniel thought he hit the jackpot. Olivia was funny, smart, supportive, knew exactly how to talk to him when the job got heavy. When he told her stories about the streets, about chasing down armed robbers and pulling drunk drivers out of wreckage, she didn't flinch, just listened, held his hand, told him how proud she was. They started small. KFC dates, walks along the beach at Tarkwa Bay. Text messages late into the night until the morning alarm caught both of them by surprise. Within a year, he proposed, and she said yes, and Daniel, man, he was gone. Olivia was funny, sharp with her words, never afraid to challenge him, but gentle enough to make him feel seen. She knew when to speak, when to listen, and when to just hold his hand while he talked about the weight of the badge. Everybody at the station loved her. His family loved her. Daniel was floating, man, thought he had it all figured out within a year. He got down on one knee by the lagoon and put a ring on her finger. But see, that's the thing about perfect pictures. Sometimes they hide the ugliest cracks. His fellow officers celebrated like it was their wedding. His mother said, finally, my son has sense. Everyone loved her. Everyone. It started small. Late night phone calls. Olivia whispering in the other room. But Nigeria has this thing. It loves to dress pain in beautiful clothes, then trips. I'm going to see my cousin in Abuja, she'd say. But the cousin never picked up the phone when Daniel tried to call. It started with the small things. Late night calls. Olivia stepping outside to answer them, whispering. And then the visitors, strange-looking men stopping by the house, never stayed long, always left before Daniel could even ask who they were, then the trips. I'm going to visit my auntie in Abuja, she'd say, but her auntie's line was always switched off whenever Daniel tried to confirm. Daniel's instincts, the same instincts that made him the best detective in the unit, they started screaming at him, but his heart was stubborn. His heart said, nah, not Olivia. She's my wife. She's different. Visitors started showing up at odd hours. Men with hard faces, smelling like trouble, pretending to be delivery men, leaving envelopes behind. Sometimes love makes you blind. And Daniel was walking around with both eyes closed, pretending he could still see. Daniel's instincts, the same gut feeling that helped him sniff out armed robbers hiding in gutters, started screaming. But his heart betrayed him. Not Olivia, it said. She's not like that. But the streets, they don't lie. See, that's how love works sometimes. It makes you wear blindfolds and call it loyalty. And soon, the streets were about to tell Daniel a truth he wasn't ready for. But Lagos don't keep secrets for long. And soon, this city was about to teach Daniel a hard lesson. Stay with me. Now listen. When Lagos wants to reveal a secret, it doesn't whisper, it screams. And for Daniel, that scream came on a humid Friday night, the kind where the air feels thick with things unsaid. Daniel and his team had been on a case for months. A criminal gang was tearing up the city, bank robberies, kidnappings, arms trafficking, ruthless people. And every time they got close, the leader slipped through their fingers like smoke. But finally, they got a tip. An insider whispered about the biggest heist yet, a plan to hit one of the major banks on Victoria Island. Millions in cash, politicians' secret accounts, dirty money that could cause chaos if stolen. Daniel didn't hesitate. "We move tonight," he told his team. No sleep, no delays. Justice doesn't take holidays. They stormed the hideout like thunder. Gunshots echoed in the dark, boots crashing through broken doors, men shouting commands. Lagos at night when it's war sounds like the heartbeat of a wounded giant. One by one, the gang members were captured, but their leader, nowhere to be seen, until Daniel turned the corner. And there she was, Olivia, standing there holding a pistol, the emerald green gown long gone. Now she wore jeans, boots, a leather jacket like she was starring in some action film. But this wasn't Nollywood, this was real. Daniel's heart didn't just break, it collapsed. Like a house with termites you didn't see until the whole roof falls in. "Olivia? Why?" he whispered. The gun in his hand shook for the first time in his whole career. And Olivia? She didn't run, she didn't cry, she smirked, but not with pride, with pain. "Because this is who I am, Daniel, and this is who I've always been." You ever see a man drowning without water? That was Daniel in that moment. His love, his home, his peace, all standing there holding a weapon. The voices of the victims echoed in his mind. Children orphaned, mothers widowed, businesses ruined, all because of her. And suddenly, the badge on his chest felt heavier than it ever had. He had two choices, love or duty. Tears burned his eyes. "Drop it, Olivia, please, don't make me..." But Olivia just closed her eyes, lowered the pistol, and turned around, putting her hands behind her back. "Do what you have to do, officer." That was the night Daniel arrested his own wife. Lagos didn't sleep that night, and neither did he. You know, in this life, betrayal doesn't come with fireworks. It comes quiet, like a sickness you didn't even know was growing inside you. Daniel stood in that courtroom like a ghost of himself. Clean uniform, fresh haircut, but inside, broken, shattered into pieces like a mirror someone punched too many times. The trial was the biggest Lagos had seen in years. Headlines screamed her name, fashion queen or criminal masterminds. People who used to admire Olivia's elegance now spit her name like poison. Family friends stopped calling. The compound where Daniel grew up, where people used to greet him like a hero, now whispered behind his back. But none of that compared to the pain of sitting across from her in that courtroom. Olivia in handcuffs, face calm, makeup still done, but the eyes were tired, like someone carrying 2 lifetimes of regret. The evidence was stacked high, CCTV footage, bank records, eyewitnesses, and when the judge slammed that gavel and said life imprisonment, Daniel felt both relief and heartbreak rise in his throat like acid. He thought that would be the end of the story. But life doesn't tie things up that neatly. 1 year later, Daniel found himself driving to Kirikiri prison. Why? Even he didn't fully understand. Maybe closure, maybe confusion, maybe just a broken man searching for pieces. The visit room smelled like bleach and old sweat. And there she was, Olivia, prison uniform, still sitting like a queen, back straight, eyes sharp. He sat down across from her, silence first, heavy, like Lagos traffic on a bad day. Then finally, he asked the question that kept him up at night. Was any of it real? Her tough exterior cracked, just a little, just enough. "Yes, Daniel," she said, voice soft. "You were the only real thing in my life." See, Betrayal doesn't erase love. It twists it, breaks it. But the memory of it, that's the part that haunts you. Daniel never remarried. He went back to his duty, wearing the uniform like a man wears old scars, not proud, not ashamed, just real. And in the quiet nights when Lagos finally went silent, he'd still hear her voice. You were the only real thing in my life. Sometimes the hardest battles we fight ain't with other people, it's with ourselves. After that prison visit, Daniel became two people, the officer the world saw and the broken man the mirror knew. His colleagues respected him even more. That man arrested his own wife, they would whisper. He chose duty over love. In the eyes of the law, Daniel was a hero. But in the quiet moments, in the slow mornings with no urgent cases, or the evenings where the Lagos sky bled orange and purple, that's when the weight hit him hardest. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was the why. How did the woman who laughed with him on those lazy Sunday mornings become the same woman planning armed robberies? How does love turn into lies? You ever love someone so deep that even when they cut you, you start blaming yourself for the blade? Yeah, that was Daniel. He started pouring his energy into the force, volunteering for the hardest cases, taking the late shifts, anything to stay busy. But the scar Olivia left, that one didn't heal with work. One day, sitting at the edge of Third Mainland Bridge, Daniel looked over Lagos. The chaos, the beauty, the brokenness, and that's when the lesson hit him. Not like thunder, but like a whisper that wouldn't leave. Love is powerful, but justice is necessary. See, real love doesn't protect evil. Real love doesn't make you blind to the people suffering because of someone else's choices. Daniel didn't choose justice because he stopped loving Olivia. He chose justice because he loved the innocent more, the children who didn't deserve to lose their parents, the families who didn't deserve to bury their loved ones. And in that moment, staring out at Lagos like a soldier looking over a battlefield, Daniel found peace, not happiness, but peace. And sometimes that's the best we get in this life. He never remarried, didn't buy another ring, didn't chase love like a man desperate to fix a mistake. Instead, he wore that scar like armor. And every young officer that joined the force, they didn't just get trained in firearms, they got trained in life. Daniel would sit them down and say, in this job, your biggest enemy won't always be outside. Sometimes it's in your own home. And when that day comes, you better know who you are. That's the lesson Lagos taught him. That's the lesson I'm giving you. Love is blind, but justice sees everything. Real talk next. Let me talk to you real quick, because what happened to Daniel happens to more people than you think. Maybe not with police badges and criminal masterminds, but in quiet homes, quiet relationships, quiet betrayals. Some of you listening right now, you're with someone who's wearing a mask, and deep down, you know it. But like Daniel, you're scared of what happens if you take that mask off. Let me tell you something nobody told me when I was younger. Love by itself ain't enough. Yeah, I said it. Love is powerful, but if love is standing next to betrayal, next to destruction, next to crime, next to wickedness, you better believe love alone won't save you. Daniel didn't arrest Olivia because he hated her. He arrested her because he loved what was right more than he loved his own comfort. That's real strength. And I know some of you right now are choosing comfort over truth, staying in places you don't belong because it's easier to lie to yourself than to face the storm outside that door. But listen, storms don't last forever. Pain don't last forever. But you know what does last? Regret. Regret will sit with you at dinner. Regret will climb into your bed at night. Regret will whisper in your ear while you're brushing your teeth. And trust me, you don't want to grow old next to regret. Daniel walked away from the love of his life to stand for something bigger than himself. Some of y'all need to do the same. I'm not saying leave your marriage because your partner snores at night. I'm talking about walking away from what's destroying you, from what's making you a liar to yourself. You owe it to your future self to be real today. Don't wait for life to explode before you listen to your gut. And here's the thing, sometimes doing the right thing will break your heart. Sometimes standing on the side of truth will leave you lonely for a season, but loneliness is better than losing yourself. That's the real talk. Hard truth next. Now here's where I stop being nice. Let me tell you something that most people won't say out loud. Love can't save everybody. And sometimes the very person you're fighting for is the one fighting against you behind your back. That's not TV drama, that's real life. Olivia didn't start planning robberies the day Daniel met her. She was already knee-deep in that life, smiling, laughing, holding his hand with one while holding a pistol in the other. And that's the problem with some of us. We don't want to believe that good people can do bad things. We think love will fix it. We think if I just love them enough, they'll change. Let me save you the heartbreak. You can't love a snake into becoming a dove. Some people don't need hugs. They need handcuffs. You hear me? And I know that's harsh. I know it don't sound poetic, but what's better? An uncomfortable truth or a beautiful lie? Daniel chose the uncomfortable truth, and it cost him. It cost him his peace, his happiness, and the life he thought he was building. But you know what it didn't cost him? His integrity. Some of you right now, you're compromising everything you are for someone who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. I'm not telling you to be paranoid. I'm telling you to be aware. Love with your eyes open. Support with your brain working. And when that voice in your gut says something's wrong, don't ignore it. That's not fear speaking. That's wisdom knocking. You don't owe anyone your destruction. And don't let anybody guilt you into loyalty to wickedness. Blood, marriage, friendship, it don't matter. If they're leading you into darkness, walk away. Daniel had to choose between his heart and his oath. And I promise you, choosing your principles will always leave you standing taller in the end. You want peace? Choose truth. You want strength? Choose integrity. Stop thinking you're responsible for saving people who don't want to be saved. Save yourself first. Then maybe, just maybe, you'll be strong enough to help somebody else later. But if you stay chained to someone else's mess, guess what? You drown with them. And that's the hard truth. If this story hit you somewhere deep, don't just sit there staring at the screen. Do something with it. Somebody you know right now is stuck. Maybe it's you, maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's your friend pretending everything's okay but drowning in silence. Share this story with them. Not because it's entertainment, because it's a warning, because it's a light in the middle of someone else's confusion. And if you're the one living that double life right now, thinking you can keep your dirt hidden under clean clothes, I got news for you. Lagos doesn't keep secrets for long. Neither does life. Wake up. Make the hard choice before the hard choice makes you. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories, real pain, real lessons. This ain't no fairy tale channel. This is where folklore meets real life, where we talk truth with the lights on. Drop a comment if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted. Your story might be the key someone else needs to unlock their prison. And remember, love is powerful, but truth is freedom. You deserve both. Let's go.